Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. Force the Line is an idea for a 2-mile long construction project that would give us measurable proof as to whether we live on a spherical or level Earth. The idea was originally put forward a few years ago by engineer Brian Mullen in a series of videos on his YouTube channel called Balls Out Physics. However, not long after putting forward this idea, his YouTube channel was closed down. It's understood he was given an ultimatum to stop investigating Flat Earth publicly, otherwise it would jeopardize his career. However, the idea has remained one of the best ways to, for the first time, actually have a permanent way of demonstrating whether the Earth is spherical or level. So just recently, Chris Watson in Scotland launched a GoFundMe campaign to try and raise the money to get this project going. Chris goes by the YouTube handle Flatty McFlatface, and I reached out to him, and we'll see the chat that we had. A few technical issues, so you don't see the beginning of the interview, but basically Chris told me early on that at the moment the GoFundMe campaign is under review, and so right now they're looking into alternative ways of directing the funds in case the GoFundMe campaign doesn't work out. At the moment he's just waiting for feedback from them. So let's hear what Chris has to say about progress so far and some of the ideas that are being floated around right now.
But we've had an idea about doing a not-for-profit where we could, set up as a charity, accept donations, and in return send out a fridge magnet or a key ring, something like that. And that way it'll get the donations will go straight into our bank account. So there'll be no processing fees, because there's processing fees, as you know, with GoFundMe.
Right.
So if this doesn't work, they will send every penny back to the donators.
Okay.
And then we'll just have to set up a charity and try and get that money back. You know? So there's other plans if this doesn't work, but I just hope that this works.
Okay. Yeah, because I see that it's already got up to £2,910 at the moment.
Yeah,
so nearly
just
£3
under
grand.
3. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a long way to go, but it's only been about 10 days so far. So
right.
That's
And
good.
some fantastic donations. We've got tens, hundreds, £500 even.
It just blows my mind. Like, I can't believe somebody would give me that amount of money and they don't even know me.
Right.
Well, they haven't met me, so I'm totally humbled by it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's incredible. Obviously, people want to. Yeah, it's. I think for a lot of people, as they're saying in the messages, this is finally, we're getting this done. I got to ask you though. I mean, have you ever actually been in contact with Brian Mullen? Because obviously you're using his video, or is it just that idea? How's that?
It was just that idea, Nick. Yeah, I mean, it made such an impact on me back in whenever it was, 2017 or 16.
Yeah.
And I love these Balls Out Physics channel. He just seemed like a really nice guy. And at the time, I thought, I suppose, what people are thinking now, that wow, this is it. This is going to get done, and it's so exciting. But there was no fundraisers, and nothing happened.
Right.
And I've posted the video, or shared the video a few times on my channel. I suppose just to see if somebody would kind of take it on board, like the big channels. But obviously nobody ever did. So eventually, I just said to my partner one day, I showed her the video, and I said, I want to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want to at least try.
Okay.
And that was it. And then Dell got involved. Well, I approached Dell and told him I was doing it because I need promotion.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do it alone either. I could, but I'd rather do it with somebody. It'd be more fun. And then Eric got involved, and that helped a lot.
Okay. Right.
That was it.
Okay, so and when you say involved, just as far as promoting, or what else is going on behind the scenes there?
Yeah, well, behind the scenes, I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm meeting Dell tomorrow for a face-to-face. Although I'm in Livingston and Dell's in Glasgow or Paisley, we're not very far apart. But I've never been to the shed, I really want to see the shed.
Yeah, it's looking very
So we
nice
said,
now. Yeah.
it is looking very nice. Yeah, I might move in. I think. But yeah, he said come through Saturday. But there is no plans as yet. I'm sure Dell's got plans. I mean, I've got plans, but we haven't talked about them.
Right.
I suppose the only plans that we could probably go public with, because I've heard them talk about it and I agree, would be like a weekly live stream, maybe on a Tuesday or something.
Okay.
And if we have to use, I've got a few backup channels. I know Dell's got BTIC live, so
Right.
we could use a different channel, hopefully to get people on screen, not just voices coming out a speaker.
Right.
And everyone can just come and chip in their ideas, because it is a people project.
Yeah.
Every project every ship needs a captain, but every ship needs a crew. So, we want to do that every week, have a brainstorming session. I mean, I've had emails right now that are incredible. People offering to pay for the entire project, and you're always doubtful about things like that, but they get me excited. I've had guys with building companies get in touch wanting to help out. I've had guys that can do 3D modeling for us. I mean, it's incredible the response we've had.
Right.
But so to answer your question, no plans as yet. That'll change, I'm sure, as of Saturday. But Eric's not involved in it. I think he just wants. He might just help when he can in promotion and stuff like that. But he's not. He's not going to be. I don't think so anyway. If he wants to, kind of. But me and Dale can sit face to face in the same room, which I quite like the idea of. Whereas obviously Eric's, across where you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, no plans as yet. It's just get the money. Raise the money. If we get the money, people will take us seriously. Right. And as I say, we want to do this weekly live stream to update people, brainstorm, and that kind of stuff.
Okay, brilliant. I mean, yeah, obviously you've set the target at 100,000. What's that based on, really?
Well, it was probably to motivate more because I thought about putting 500,000 down because I've got this vision that I want to do it really properly. I want it to be a monument that can be left on site forever. Basically a business. That itself could be a not-for-profit. You could charge an admission fee. It would boost the tourism in Scotland, but we would need private land for that. So one way is to buy the land if we can.
Okay.
Another way is hopefully somebody would donate land and we would rent it from them. Maybe have some kind of lawyer's letter done if they wanted it to be there permanently. They could help run that business. I don't know. I'm just kind of blotting out ideas.
Right.
But yeah, I thought 100 grand was a bit more motivational because people might think, yeah, there's a good chance we can achieve that. Considering ODD has 300 odd subscribers, Eric's got 100,000, and there's plenty out there like you with 10,000 plus. So, I said if one person gave us $1, a pound, or a euro, it's job done. I can't believe people have gave me £500, but so I don't think it's unachievable.
Right.
And I'm not naive. I'm not under no illusion it will take, a month. I think this could take a year, maybe longer, maybe I don't know how long.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say to Dale tomorrow, I think it's very important that we have to, regularly update and sort of keep the momentum going. It's a long-term kind of project, but that is my vision or my dream or just my plan that I'd like to have something, completely professional, built on private land and left there for forever. But need the money. But to answer your question, Brian did say he thought it would cost about $300,000, but he also thought he could do it for a lot less than that, with a bit of tweaking here and there.
Right.
So I just thought, well, we'll half it, 150 grand, and we'll just make it sort of British pounds and make it 100. But if we get more, then great. I'm sure it'll cost more than that, but I don't want to give people a target that seems unachievable. Yeah. Like a ludicrous target.
Right. Yeah.
So
Okay. Fantastic. Yeah. So how? I mean, you've got to be asked. Playing devil's advocate. Really. How is what assurances are there that this money will go directly to that?
Well, that's a good question. I'm kind of old-fashioned. I still believe that a handshake is a contract.
Right.
and I still believe that your word is your bond.
Yeah.
And without it, what are we? So that's all I can really say. The whole process will be documented. Dell wants it to be completely public.
Yeah.
There's everything will be put in front of everybody.
Right.
I'll update people with screenshots, and people can see the GoFundMe anyway. They can see how much is in there.
Right.
And I'd even be prepared to, if everything gets worked out with the GoFundMe, and if they do start transferring the money to my account, I'll just take snapshots of my account to show that the money's in there and building up. So as the GoFundMe balance kind of does that, my account would do that.
That's right.
But I've got a couple of savings accounts that I can put the money in. And I'll get a little bit of interest on them.
Right.
But it'll be pennies. It's like 1% or something. It's nothing.
Right.
But yeah, that's the only thing we can do is make sure we film everything, make sure we're completely transparent, and I'll go as far as snapshotting my own bank statements to show people, the money's in there and it's not getting spent on, whatever.
Sure. Well, you are dealing with a bunch of conspiracy nuts, right? So there's going to be
absolutely. I mean, but this is a challenge. It's a huge challenge. I'm not just a silly wee guy saying I'm going to raise $100,000 and change the world. It's a serious challenge. It's a serious undertaking. Yeah. And I feel like the people need to be respected. It's their money that's going to make this happen. It's their trust. So, but yeah. I mean, I'm excited by it. And I know we can do this.
Right.
Just given enough time.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've basically had mostly positive feedback and obviously a lot of other ideas coming forth. People are even kind of. Have you got any other donations apart from money? So you said people have kind of got design ideas, materials, things like that. Anything like that coming forward?
No materials. In fact, I'll just double check my emails. There might have been some mention of materials, but mainly so far it's been drawings and people with companies that would probably give us, mates rates, stuff like that.
Okay.
I've got a guy here about 3D modeling. I've got another guy who was prepared to buy land outright, but he wanted kind of in on the deal. And I thought, well, there isn't really a deal for you to get in on.
Right.
So whether he's genuine or not, I'm not sure. Dr. John D's been in touch, and he's asked me to reach out to him. I did. He hasn't got back to me yet.
Okay.
But nothing about materials yet. It's just more about planning.
Okay.
And potentially land.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's I can't remember the exact figures. We're talking about minimum distance of what was it?
Well, a minimum distance quarter mile.
Okay.
Brian's idea was 2 miles to show the 32 inches.
Right.
But half a mile would be 16, quarter mile would be 8. So we still expect to see an 8-inch deviation at the end of the structure, and even taking into account tolerances. Tolerances could be 0.8 or 0.08 of an inch. So there would still be an obvious deviation at the end of this thing, even over a quarter mile. A mile would be good. I'd like to do a mile, but it's going to depend on what land we get.
Yeah, and I suppose obviously ultimately water is going to be the ideal level, right? So even if you're, is that set that it's going to be water is going to be involved?
Well, again, I haven't spoken to Dale yet, so I don't want to talk out of turn, but I would like to see water underneath my idea is to dig a mini canal. Okay. Let's just say it's a metre wide by 500 deep, that would have to be surveyed by, theodolites and surveyors all the way to make sure that it's the same depth all the way. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see concrete in that canal.
Okay.
Well, maybe some kind of membrane. I'd like it to be waterproof so it can be filled with water. And I'd like the posts to be in that concrete up to a certain depth. And again, they would be surveyed to make sure they're all the same height. And then potentially, I'd like to fill that canal with water up to a certain depth. And that's just there to show that, the forced line beams would be above that water, and they would obviously be forced to be flat. And underneath it, the water wouldn't be, curving away from that. and on top you've got the spirit level line, I like to call it, that should be following the curvature of the Earth.
Okay.
You know, which obviously it won't be, but we have to, you know, kind of again play devil's advocate and say, well, you know, we're honest inquirers. We want to we're building this to prove the shape of the Earth. The top one that's level with spirit levels should follow the curvature because that's the only way it could work. Yeah. The bottom one will be mechanically forced, and underneath that you'll have a standing body of water. And ideally a little cycle path next to it, some lights on it so you can cycle past it, see the lines converge. So that was Brian's vision. Yeah. And that's it really. You know, the whole thing's going to be 1 metre wide by a mile long by you know 10 foot high or you know 6 foot high. It's not a big space really. Right. It's a long space, but it's, you know, so it could be the end of a field, you know, potentially. Okay. You know, so I'm really hoping. The land is one of the biggest concerns for me because we can't do this on public property. You know, people have talked about doing things on canals. You know, we can't start building structures on government property, basically. You know, as much as we don't like them, it's their property and they'll take it away. So it has to be private land. You know. Right. And do you? Has to be. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that kind of covers one of my questions, which was about planning permission. Obviously, you know, so. Yes, you could approach the authorities and you could kind of, you know, you could spend years trying to get permission to do it. So obviously private land would be ultimately quicker, more efficient. Yeah. Do you know if that would require any planning permission? I'm not sure. I mean, I used to work in the construction trade and if you're to build a conservatory in your back garden, if it's any bigger than 3 meters by 3 meters, you need permission. Right. I don't know how it works in a farmer's field. I'm sure a farmer can do whatever he wants in his fields. If he wants to build a house in it, I'm sure he can. But I don't know that for a fact. Right. So again, any legal advice would be great. If any lawyers out there, property lawyers, land lawyers, could give us a heads up on what we could be looking at here. Right. If not, I'll just go and see a lawyer and ask them. But again, that even costs money to talk to a lawyer. Yeah. You know, so I'm not sure about that one, Nick. But I'd assume if a farmer was to give us his land, he can do whatever the hell he wants with that land. But I don't know that for a fact. Right. You know? Maybe cover it with straw bales for a certain time. That's been done before. Yeah, building castles. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, but no, I mean, obviously, again, that's the kind of service that someone, you know, a legal person can do pro bono. You know, that's obviously the kind of thing you need. It sounds like you're getting people from all walks of life that are eager to contribute to this, right? Yeah, I mean, it's not just crazy flat earthers that live in their mum and dad's basement. You know, it's engineers, it's company directors, doctors. You know, so you know. It's fantastic. Wow. Now, I showed my father. I've been into this for 6 years, and my dad knows that. And I've been chipping away at him for 6 years, and he is like granite. You know, he's like diamond. You're not going to get in there. But today, after he watched it, I showed him the Gofundme. And money. My dad's very money motivated, so that got his attention. Okay. He's a businessman. Okay. And I showed him the Brian Mullen video, and he was kind of glued to it. So, I think it's just the kind of thing that really gets people's attention. It's quite exciting, you know. It is science after all. It's engineering and science. It's not just, you know, talking about fly earth. Yeah, you know? Yeah. I mean, do you have any confirmation of the theory that from the kind of globe Earth believer's perspective, that is there any kind of general consensus or agreement that yes, there would be a curve, and that curve would be kind of it would be a bulge in the middle, really, wouldn't it? Or you know, has anything like that been established? No, but I mean, I suppose logically the curve would just curve at a rate of 8 inches per mile squared. You know, that's it, because it's a sphere. You know, this is what gets to me, because nobody really understands that. It's a sphere, it's a snooker ball. You know, it's a perfect sphere with water on it, and you know, unless it is an oblate spheroid, which would contradict the images from NASA, then it will be curving at a continuous rate of 8 inches per mile squared. So should the spirit level line. Yeah. and so should the water underneath it. It should just be a continuous, what's the word? A kind of not a level rate, but it's just a smooth rate of curvature. It's a consistent, but which again, it shows how stupid the whole concept of the globe Earth is. But if you think about it, we live on a snooker ball basically with water on it.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, that's right. Because if you dug a trench in a field and one end was deeper, then it's
the water will still be level,
Yeah.
But to kind of put any skeptics at ease, they're going to say, they would say something stupid like the bottom of that trench must be curved, or it must be at an angle or something. It's like, guys, you still haven't grasped the concept of water. Standing bodies, regardless what happens underneath, the water will be level.
Right. Yeah.
We know that. Yeah. I've had bricklayers get in touch as well. And they've even said to me, Chris, I get this because I use plumbing level every day.
Okay.
I build walls every day that aren't curving 8 inches per mile squared.
Mm-hmm.
So if we did live on a ball, I'd expect to see that top one curve perfectly, at 8 inches per mile. But there would be, from your point of view, there would be a hump, because it's about from your point of view, I suppose. So, if you stood in the middle of the thing, it would probably hump away from you like a bow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you were in the middle of it,
Right. But again, it still doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't make. It never really makes sense when you put someone else at the other end, and it's kind of we of course we understand that this whole thing is a kind of mental gymnastics from the optical phenomenon that doesn't actually occur in reality. So it's amazing that and this will be, the first ever attempt at measuring curvature on the surface of the Earth rather than extrapolating it from star movements or the sun or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we have to take vision out of it.
Yeah.
We have to take light out of it. We have to take refraction out of it. There's too many what ifs in those experiments. And F.E. Cole's experiment they just did was incredible. But this still applies. People will still pick holes in it and say, well, it's not valid because the laser must be refracting off the water, or it's refracting through the atmosphere somewhere,
right?
Or it's a trick of the light, it's a trick of the camera.
Yeah.
And I'm under no illusion that people won't pick holes in this. I'm sure they'll still find something to. But I'm struggling to find what they could pick. I don't know what they could speak negatively about this structure, because it's going to be so solid, perfect, professional, engineered to within really exact tolerances, and it just shows it. You can walk up and touch it, you can cycle next to it, and you should either be able to see that you should be able to see the lines converge, or you shouldn't, or you won't.
Right.
So it's either this structure proves that we don't live on a ball, or this structure does prove that we're on a ball.
Right.
But it's if those lines will not converge, they just won't. They won't do that. But.
We do know that from just everyday experience, and especially the construction industry. Have you had any input from, or even, I think I did see a donation from someone that did claim to be a glober, but a very angry £5. Here's
it was an angry fiver. It was an angry fiver. I think it was a beef he had with Daniel Pratt. Pratt donated, I think it was $20 or $50. It was fantastic. And he told his globe proponents to put their money where their mouth was, and they did. They put a fiver in.
Right.
So fine. Every penny counts.
Yeah, sure. Obviously, other sites are not, apart from where you are not out of the question either, are they? Of course, this could end up being, I don't know, in California or something, could it? Or
absolutely. Again, another kind of potential business venture is to sell the plans. As a turnkey solution. I'm sure the Americans are capable of building their own, but if somebody wanted plans, or rights to it, we could trademark it or copyright it or patent it or something. And again, it's not about making. I don't know what we would do with the profit if we made profit. I'm not in this to make any money, but I'd love to have a job in this line in the flat earth. So if I was the guy standing there running this machine or running this structure, giving people tickets and taking their money, that would be fine, a little touristy job or something. But
right.
Any money could be given to charity. We could actually, I don't know. I mean, this is a crazy kind of out there idea, but build a school, a private school, and teach people, real science.
Right.
Teach people the liberal arts again and stuff like that. I don't know where it could take us, but it all starts with an idea,
Absolutely, it's great. It's you could say it could be the cornerstone, the foundations of something a lot bigger. And this whole thing is of course we know this. It's a lot bigger than all of us. It's one of those questions that we're all plagued with, and I'm sure there are so-called globies out there. They're either really confident that they would say, yeah, it's going to prove a globe, and there are others that maybe, who knows what the individuals are thinking, really. But I think, to get some kind of closure and a real scientific measurement, whatever the results are, I think is what the core people involved at the moment, I think that seems to be the main thing, right? Hey, if it turns out that water's bending, great.
Fine. We can get on with our lives, I suppose. And I mean, it's just taking up too much in there for me. I think about it all the time.
Right.
I have thought about it all the time for 6 years, and as I said the other day, I'm sick of being called crazy. I'm sick of that look that people give you when they find out you're a flat earther or you question the shape of the earth. They look at you like something really wrong with you, and I'm kind of just sick of that now. So if it turned out that water does display convexity, then fine. Fine, okay, we were wrong, great, let's just go on with our lives now. But we know that's not the case,
Right. But then there are so many. Obviously, of course, there's still many questions off that. Is it gravity or is it pressure? Is it this or is it that? The whole thing. It's it basically leads to, and this is what, of course, this is why. What am I saying here? The real science behind any of these beliefs, whatever model one refers to, none of these have actual physical, demonstrable, practical, physical, physics behind them. It's all kind of make believe, really. It's all about where are we. So it is very very important. It could have a very profound effect on not only the people involved, but as you say, this growing the number of people who can go and visit, touch it. We don't know where it's going to go. It could skyrocket, pardon the pun, but it could really take off. And I suppose any kind of engineering or experimentation, whether it's chemistry or through engineering or whatever, a lot of people got it wrong. They got it wrong along the way, right?
Before we got the right answer, so to speak. So I'm not saying this is getting it wrong, but if we found out, let's just say we found out that the water was curving, and our force line experiment ends up proving the Earth to be a globe, then fine, because whether you're a flat earther or a globe earther, you don't know, you don't really know the in-depth. Well, globe earthers don't really know the physics that they believe that the professors know or the guys in white coats know. They don't understand why the Earth is a ball. And if it this machine proved that the Earth was a ball, I suppose we're just proving that we didn't know why it was a ball either. So nobody, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but nobody knows what a flat Earth how a flat Earth would work. Like who put it there? How does it work?
Right.
We don't know that, and nobody knows about the globe. But nobody knows anything really.
No.
Nobody really. We know the flat earthers know what it's not. But I don't think the globe earthers don't. I think they know even less. But my point is, nobody really knows anything. We don't know what the Earth is. We don't know why we're here. We don't know how it got here. We don't know who made it. We don't know how it works. We don't know anything. I'm sure there's some people on this Earth that do know, but obviously the vast majority don't know. And then the question is, well, the ones that do know, why aren't they telling us?
Right.
Why is it a secret? Is it an infinite plane? Does it stop somewhere? Is it just a big cage within another reality? We don't know anything.
Right.
So it might just start us on that journey of, as you say, we don't know where we are. So it might tell us where the hell we are.
Right.
Have we got a purpose for being alive, or are we just animals in a zoo? We don't know. There's a million questions. We just don't. We don't know.
Absolutely, and you highlighted it earlier, being called the crazy flat earther. I mean, all the flat earther is someone that can think of and perceive a million different possibilities of the how, why, and where, and also at the same time realize that all of those are just ideas, because nothing has ever been done to give that any of those beliefs any kind of foundation, which is what this project would aim to do.
Well, yeah, it'd be nice to have something. As you say, nobody has anything tangible. So this is one thing. After all this time, one thing that would tell us something. Yeah. That probably can't be debated. It's there. It's mechanical. Come and see it, touch it.
Right.
And then just see what tangent it takes us on.
Yeah. Great. So it's been. So you said it's been what, three weeks now, or a little bit
just a couple of weeks,
okay.
Nick. I put the first video up. I've just checked my phone. It's been maybe 10 days, maybe not quite 2 weeks yet.
Yeah.
Let's see. I posted the Force the Line video up on. There we go. The 22nd of April. So 10 days, a bit more than 10 days, just over 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
great.
over 2 weeks.
Yeah. Brilliant. So.
So that's it. I can't. I could ramble on for hours, Nick. I just need. We need help to get this out there any way that we can.
And again, thanks very much for the chance to get to know you a bit more, and the inspiration behind it. And I'm sure it's going to snowball, and we'll all do our best to keep everyone updated. So thanks very much, Chris.
Appreciate that.
We'll catch you soon. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Nick. I really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone that's donated. Let's get this done. Any way you can help, appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. Great. Cheers.
Click subscribe and the bell icon if you'd like to receive notifications of new videos from Phuket Word.